everyone, this is Dance Crochet Part 2, and today we're continuing our adult panda hat. Before we begin, I would like to add something from our first video, which I forgot to mention towards the end. After we finish making round 7, we continue in each stitch to add 1/2 double crochet until our hat is the desirable length. Then, at the end of our last stitch, you fasten it off, as you know by now, with every row. Remember, keep the tail on the inside of your hat to be hidden. So that, my friends, was the end of the pattern from Bob Wilson 123 that I used. Now let's start with the ear flaps for the adult panda hat. So to make the ear flaps, you will need either a stitch marker or a safety pin. In this video I'm just using a little bit of yarn. What you do is you fold the hat in half and you turn it upside down. As you can see, I put already my stitch markers. So you're going to count 5 into the corner of your hat. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're going to turn the hat and you're going to count another 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically you need 10 stitches, and within these 10 stitches we're going to crochet a 1/2 double crochet. So as you see, I'm counting them again: 9, 10. Those are your 10 stitches, and now I'm going to show you how to start it. So simply put your hook under those 2 loops, as you can see there. Get your white yarn out and put or add the yarn over the hook. As you're holding it, not too tight, pull it underneath those 2 loops and add the yarn over your hook. Pull it under 1 loop, and now with your other hand try and make it a little bit tight. And add, well, actually not too tight, because then you have to go back to the same 2 loops that we were in the beginning, and add the yarn, pull it up, add another yarn and pass it under the 2 loops, as you can see. I'm making it a little bit tight because it looked a little bit free. So now we just add a chain, and that was your first 1/2 double crochet. Now we're going to continue the same step in the second stitch. I'm adding the end, well, the tail of the yarn, so it's not visible, so it's mostly hidden. So that's our second stitch, and we continue until we get to the end of our stitch marker. Keep in mind that now I'm going to fast forward the video until we get to the end of our stitch marker. Now that we took out the stitch marker and we actually have 10 stitches, our next step is to simply find that little hole where we started the 10th stitch, and we just simply, it's actually there exactly, so we put the hook within and we grab the yarn. It's actually a little bit tricky, especially when I'm showing you on video, and we grab the yarn, we pull it up, we add yarn, and we pull it under the 2 loops, and we chain 1. So basically that's what you're going to be doing when you get to the end of your 10th stitch. And now we turn the hat. Let me make it a little bit visible for you. So as you see, that was our 10th stitch. So what we're going to do is go under the 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull it up, add the yarn, and pass it under the 2 loops. So basically you're actually doing what we did in step 1, which we put a 1/2 double crochet in each stitch. So you're going to do that until you get to the 9th stitch. Then I'll show you what you'll have to do for your 10th stitch. So I'm fast forward the video as you know, and I'll help you out with the 10th stitch. Now we just finished the 9th stitch, and I'm about to show you the 10th stitch. The 10th stitch is a little bit difficult to find, but always remember it's on the side. Just try and put your hook through the stitch over there, which is in the corner bit. Pull up a yarn and then pull it under 2 loops, and then remember to chain 1. Always when you get to the end of the 10th stitch, you must chain 1. So you're going to continue this step until the ear flap is long enough for you to cover the ears. A good tip for this is try wearing the hat and determine either if the ear flap is long enough to cover your ear, or you can tell by then if it's covering half of the ear. You just might need to make some more rows of the 10 stitches. So continue this, and then do the same step as I showed you how to begin an ear flap for the other side of the hat. In case you didn't understand the step, always remember you can always go back to the video, fast forward and press play to see the step again. Now we just finished our 2 ear flaps. In case you're wondering how many rows, I've actually done 6 rows in each ear flap, which basically covers the whole ear. And remember, wear it so you know exactly. And what we're going to do now is we're going to use our black yarn around. As you can see, that's the tail. It's not a problem. You can always put it inside, and while we put the black yarn across, we always grab the tail, and we can actually hide it within the black yarn. So basically what you're going to do now is put the hat upside down, grab the beginning of the black yarn, and we're going to do the same step as we did for the ear flap. As you remember, we just pull the end of it a little bit so it's a little bit tight. Put the yarn over the hook, pass it underneath the loop, make it a little bit tighter so it doesn't fall off. And what we're gonna do now is simply go back to the same stitch. I'm zooming so you guys are able to see it. It's exactly the same stitch. We pass it through, grab the yarn and pull it out, and here we have 2 loops, and we pass it under the 2 loops. We make it a little bit tighter. So that was our first. So we're going to continuing doing that, but we're going to do it on the opposite side. That's the right side to do it, because then it forms in a nice way on our adult panda hat. So basically the trick for that is just turn it as I'm showing you on the video, and just hold the tail like that, because we want the tail with it, and put our hook into the stitch, grab it, and then put it under the two loops. So basically you're going to continue doing this in every stitch. And you see I make it a little bit tight because I don't like it that free. So as you can see, you just do it on the opposite side. Remember, turn the hat so it makes it more easy for you to continue doing that. And you're going to continue doing this step until you get to the ear flaps. I'm going to fast forward the video now until we get to the ear flaps, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. It's a really easy step, so don't worry. At this part exactly, I'm going to show you how far the black yarn has to go. As you can see, I've zoomed out a bit to show you. Okay, I'm going to show you how far it's supposed to go. As you can see, that's the start of our point, and it has to continue until the end of the corner of our hat. And you see it's close to the ear flap, so from that point you continue making stitches, and then slowly you're gonna follow the way the ear flap is from that corner to the end of your ear flap. As you can see, I'm showing you, you're gonna continue your stitch exactly like that. As you can see, I've actually done half of our adult panda hat with the black yarn. I've done one ear flap, and now I'm going to show you how I'm continuing to stitch the black yarn onto the next ear flap. So as you can see, I'm here in the corner. It's pretty easy, just remember, just continue the line of the ear flap. And basically it's a little bit difficult to show you exactly on the camera because the hat is an adult hat. So basically what I'm doing, I'm putting the hook into the stitch on the side, pull up the black yarn, add the black yarn over the hook, and pass it under two loops. Yeah, sometimes it gets stuck. So as you can see, and I make it a little bit tighter. So basically you're just doing that. In the corners, if you want, you can actually add about 2 stitches. That's what I've actually did. So it looks nice on the edges. So basically I'm going to continue the black yarn to stitch it until we get to the point where we first started. Now that we're done, our next step is to make a plait on our ear flap. It's a really easy thing to do. Simply you just need black and white yarn. I would suggest you to have about 10 pieces of white yarn and another 10 of black yarn. But remember, you have to make 2 of those. So basically you're supposed to have two groups of 10 white yarn and another 2 groups of black yarn. And as you can see, I'm separating them. So I'm counting them. You can either do 10 or 6, as long as it looks a little bit full. It's good enough and it's long enough so you're able to actually cut. So this is the second one. As you've seen, I've put the first one. I would suggest you to with a hook to pass it through the middle. So that's about the middle, the 2 stitches in the middle, that's where I'm going to pass it. So I actually passed, this is the second one, and basically you hold it like this, you put it over. I know in the start it's a little bit difficult, but it's okay. Hold it as tight as you can, because sometimes the yarn just comes off. And pull your hook through the stitch. It's a little bit difficult, so okay, I think I got it. Yeah, as I said, it's a little bit difficult sometimes. It also depends the amount of yarn that you're using. In this case, I'm using 10 of white and 10 of black. So when you finally end up pulling it through the stitch, you see one just came off. So yeah, what I was saying was, after you pull it through the loop, well, actually manage, then you just pull it up slowly, just so you're sure that you have all of them. And then, while you're holding it, you pass this through the huge loop of yarn that we have. And remember, that's from the inside and that's from the outside. We pass it through. And now what we need to do is pull it slowly, so we also don't damage the stitch that we put this through, and of course make it look nice and neat. So you just need to put a little bit of strength, make it a little bit tight, so it sticks out nice from the ear flap. And what we're about to do now is separate, or better divide, our yarn in four places. I'm actually fixing the video so you're able to see it a little bit better. So the way I'm showing you in the video, that's how you're supposed to divide it in 4. Just keep in mind the 2 middle parts have to stay together. And now we're gonna make a plait. So in case you don't know how to make a plait, it's not a problem. I'll show you the beginning of it and you just continue doing until you get to the end. Remember, you have to make the plait a little bit strong, so it looks, oh, well, a little bit tight, so it looks better, meaning it's supposed to look like this. So remember to make the plait a little bit tight, so it looks nice. Now, after we've done making the plait to the point you desire, simply cut black yarn. I always cut it a little bit longer. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to wrap to the point of our plait that we want. So basically just hold it tight there and pass the yarn around it. I probably want it about there. So, because I'm measuring it with the other plait that I've already made. So you tie it and you kind of make a tight knot in front of your plait, and then you can make one at the back side of your plait. Some people here like wrapping the yarn around it and keep making knots so it's tight enough and it looks nice, and other people like making a bow. But in this case, it's up to you how you'd like it to be on your plait. So as you can see, I'm just wrapping it and making knots on it so it looks more nice. I think you've understood how to do it. You'll just have to do the same thing for your other plait on your other ear flap. I'm going to fast forward this video for you until we get to the point that we can continue our process of making our adult panda hat. After we've made the plait and tied black yarn around it, well, I'm going to show you how to cut it in the correct way. Simply put both of the plaits together, straighten out the leftover yarn, and measure about the point you want it. Try to not cut any fingers though. I'm just fixing to see. And simply cut it to the measurement of your desire. It doesn't matter if it's not perfectly straight, but it kinda does matter if it's about short enough. This usually happens. You'll always have a piece of yarn that's still longer than the rest, so just simply cut that off. And if you need to trim it, you can, but not too much. And as you can see, those are your plaits for your ear flaps. The rest of your yarn, you either can throw it or keep it. Depends how you want. So basically, this was a really easy part for the ear flap. As you can see, they look great on our ear flaps. Now prepare yourself for the next step to make the panda's eye. Okay, so what we're gonna need to make our panda's eye is black yarn and a little bit of white. This is the white within our panda's eye. It's easy to make. Simply chain 5 into the first chain to make the ring and then fasten it off. Continuing after that, making 12 half double crochet into the ring and then fasten it off. In case you don't remember, go back to my first video of part 1 on how to make an adult panda hat and follow the step of making the ring until you get to the point of adding in each stitch to half double crochet. Remember, you need to make 2 of those so your button can fit. Remember, you can choose any kind of button you desire as long as it's black and it's about the size as my button that I'm showing you on the video. Now I'm going to show you how to make the panda eye, but the black part of it. Attach a slip knot to your hook and then chain about 6. After doing so, simply put the 6th chain into the second chain to form a ring. And the reason why we're putting in the second chain is because we're trying to make a oval shape. If you remember correctly, a panda's eye, the black part of the panda's eye is always in an oval shape. And at this part, it's not easy to make one, but I'm actually trying my best on this one. So even if the black part of the panda's eye doesn't look exactly like an oval shape, because I don't know the right pattern for it, just simply make whatever you can as long as it's close to an oval. You can either, it might turn out to be like a black circle, which that's going to be the part of the panda's eye. Okay, now that we've done the first part, we're just gonna cast it off. And remember, you can do the same exactly step for the white part of the eye, just remember, don't chain 6, chain about 5 or 4 in that case, depending how small you want the white part for your button to fit in as the panda's eye. As you can see, I've chained 2, and I just add the yarn over the hook and put the hook through the same stitch where I had chained 2. So at that point, we're going to make another half double crochet, meaning, as you can see, I've actually made 2 in the same stitch, and now I'm actually going to add a 1/2 double crochet into the next stitch. So basically you just need to repeat this, as I said before, 2 half double crochets in one stitch, and then in the other stitch a 1/2 double crochet. You repeat this until you get to the end, and I'll get back to you guys shortly. Okay, here we're not going to fasten it off, we're going to continue with the stitches, because as I said before, we want to try and make an overall shape. What I'm going to do here is simply repeat the step as a previous one that we already made, and simply put in the first stitch a 1/2 double crochet, and then in the next stitch a 2/2 double crochet, and just repeat until we get to the end, and I will show you the next step. As you can see, we have the black part of the panda's eye, and now I'm going to show you how to stitch the white part for the panda's eye with the button. I know in this video I'm actually going to show you that I've put the white part with the button in the middle, but that depends how you want your panda's eye to look like. For example, I've actually stitched one on purpose on our hat, so you have an idea how it's going to look like. But that again depends on you, if you want it that way or a different way, and you will see further on towards the end of the video that I've actually changed the way I wanted the panda's eye to look like. So here, as you can see, I just cut off the little piece of our black for the black part of the panda's eye, and I'm making this part a little bit tighter so the tail can stay in the back after we've sewn it on to our hat. Now, to sew the button onto the white part of our panda's eye, you will need to cut from your black yarn, depending how many meters you want it, in order to pass it through the needle and actually sew it on your button onto the white part of the panda's eye. As you can see, I've already sewn one. It's really easy. I'm going to show you how to do it. Keep in mind though, I actually changed the way that I wanted the eyes to look like, because I didn't like the way they were. So basically I just took the button and the white part of the panda's eye and put it in the corner. Don't worry, you can see that further on. Now I'm actually showing you exactly how you should put the panda's eye on with your needle. After you made this area tight, then you have to start on the edge of the black eye. So basically you're just going to grab the needle and put it in between the above stitch of the hat. You don't want it to go through your hat. For me personally, it doesn't look that nice, but if you want to do that, it's not a problem. The choice is yours. So simply what I'm doing here is passing the needle on the above stitches of the hat, and then passing it through the edge of the black part of the panda's eye. So I'm not going through the hat, I'm just going above the stitch, as you can see here. So basically you just need to do this step until you get around. And here we are. We just finished our panda's eyes. Again, if you don't like it, you can actually make it the way you want. Next step is to make the ear of the panda hat. Keep in mind there is another video for our next step. If you like the video, subscribe, like me on Facebook, and follow me on Pinterest. Thank you for watching Dance Crochet, and please be free to ask any questions at the comment section below. Don't forget to check part 3 on how to make the panda's ears.